When I uploaded my video on Vaporwave about 2 years ago, I think I really for the first time broke into YouTube as someone kind of known for making videos. When I looked on Reddit, I saw people that were like recognizing me for what I was doing. They liked editing, script, the laughs, but they just didn't like the Marxism. They really didn't like the Marxism. And I figured, considering that I get a lot of dissenting opinions on my videos, I'd start responding to a few of them. Not all of them, just a few of them. I wanted to look at some of the more positive comments here too, just to make things a bit more balanced. I think I referenced Marxism maybe 3 times in the initial video, and I think I said pretty clearly that Vaporwave is both praising and critiquing capitalism, and for that reason is employing a Marxist critique. But people didn't really seem to see it that way. You're either very pro-capitalist and you love it and you think that Vaporwave is supporting consumerism, or you're anti-capitalism, full-on commie pinko, neo-Bolshevik, cultural Marxist, and your bed's unmade. I didn't take either position in the original video at all because Vaporwave doesn't really take that position. But of all of the comments I got completely deriding Marxism as any semblance of a component in Vaporwave, my favorite had to be from Benjamin Woodham, who said to me in very plain English, "I happen to love capitalism, and hearing Vaporwave does not alert me to the dangers of consumerism. It just feels like someone made a musical genre that is a massive tribute to consumerism with a bit of a sarcastic twinge to it. Vaporwave does not point the finger at the realities of consumerism, but none of those realities appear to be injustices if you're looking at how Vaporwave seems to interpret consumerism. I don't see Marxist undertones, rather I see nostalgia for better days when capitalism was more prevalent. Marxism, from my perspective, seems to be totally absent from the genre, wonderfully so. I'd like to bring up another point. I think Marxists tend to see their own philosophy in literally everything. I have an art degree, and I had to deal with a bunch of ideologues when I was in art school. Everything that was good endorsed Marxism according to Marxists. I once heard a speech about how Leonardo da Vinci was Marxist, and I'm not even joking. They put their ideology into literally everything. Mr. Amazing, I'd like you to address this issue I have, if you are indeed amazing." That pretty much sums up the general feeling that I get from all of these comments, if I am indeed amazing. The point I was trying to make about Marxism is that what Marx says about production in the capitalist mode of production is that people are separated from their products. That's the fundamental issue. It's not about wealth, it's not about class. I mean, those are all components, very big components, but Marx's fundamental philosophical issue is that. What is unique about Vaporwave really is the way it's critiquing capitalism, because the support that you evidence is, in my opinion, a critique. It is to say that there is some greatness here, but it's greatness that's examined in a different way. When you hear the way sounds can be distorted and destroyed and stretched out and pitch shifted in people like Vectroid or in people like Esprit, even St. Pepsi does it a little bit, VHS logos too. It's a sound which is really evidencing decay. It's not evidencing this beautiful utopic society. It is looking at something that was once great and saying there's a problem here. It's using the greatness of the sound itself, in my opinion, to get to something that really isn't so great. And so you have here both greatness and badness at the same time. And I think that is the main critique. That is also, in some ways, Marx's position. In some cases, he says that the main philosophical issue of capitalism is that man is separated from the products of his labor. That is the biggest philosophical issue he has. Vaporwave is getting at that by using the products of his labor, distorting them, and looking at them in this really ghostly, sort of blurry way to articulate that difference and that separation of man from his labor. You can say that, a critique of consumerism isn't intrinsically Marxist. I think the way that Vaporwave is using the products of labor is using copyrighted material that has intellectual value to it, and as I said in the initial video, eroding at it and subtracting from it. It is adding a new meaning to it, which is precisely what Marx said of capitalism. And at the same time, how can you not look at something like this, redistribute the Pepsi, and just love how nonsensical that is? That this isn't some great, huge critique of capitalism that is meant to be incredibly profound. It's a surface level sort of thing. It's there, it's a critique of capitalism, but the purpose isn't Marxist. The purpose is never to promote a sort of communistic, even fascistic if you're looking at Vaporwave, but God, that's completely different. This sort of idea of capitalism being completely destroyed and replacement with something like Laborwave. It's not anything like that. It's just the way that it is doing what it's doing is a resemblance of Marx's philosophy. And it's because of that I don't really see an insertion of Marxism. I don't think that Marxists are really inserting their ideology into everything. I mean, I don't know, because I don't talk to too many Marxists. Perhaps you do know better than I do with your art degree, but it's not really an insertion. It's not saying Vaporwave is fundamentally Marxist and that everything we look at through Vaporwave must be Marxist. I never said that. I never claimed that. That was something you inserted into my video. And I think everybody that really seemed to think that I was making this outrageous claim that Vaporwave is fundamentally Marxist, they inserted that. I didn't insert Marxism into it. I just said that there's a comparison that can be seen there. If you want to go and say that I'm then saying that that is making this unique niche internet subgenre with wide posting text and Simpsons clips some fundamental Marxist-Leninist, Maoist, Lopatinist fucking movement of economy, if you want to say that, go ahead, but that ain't what I said. That is not what's in the video. All that being said, the scripting also happened to be something that a lot of people were divided over. I think some people called it literature and poetry. I wouldn't call it that good. I think there were parts of the video where I did definitely get things way too verbose. I don't think it was very good at all, but someone did actually, funnily enough, put part of the script into a Future Funk song, which was pretty cool. I always loved the 80s. Something about it touched the roaring synths, the neon visuals. I always thought they were pretty rad. I'd always been raised listening to 80s music, and a lot of it was staples in my parents' house for the longest time. So when a friend sent me a link to St. Pepsi's Private Caller in 2015, something clicked. I remember that musical fridge, and I felt as I closed my eyes and entered the faux 80s dystopia at the song evoked. I listened to 5 albums over the next day. Then some people really took it the other direction, and someone on Reddit posted, "I hate these types of videos. Obnoxious, pretentious kids reading Wikipedia pages for 10 minutes. And that's fair. I don't think I really said anything too profound in that video. It's an alright statement. I think I did an alright job, too. But, then someone responded to that saying, someone should post a transcript of the video in the comments so that we can read and laugh at it. That's a bit dark. I think that's a little bit too far. I can understand not liking something and thinking something is a little bit pretentious and not that good, but laugh at it? I don't understand that. And then tangential to like my script and I guess even to Marxism, people seem to think that I was also seeing too much value in Vaporwave, and I wasn't aiming to see value in it for value's sake. That is to say that there is some intrinsic great profundity to it. Even when I was discussing Marxism just a few minutes ago, like I said, it's not that Marxism is an inherent thing in Vaporwave, and it's the same way with regards to meaning. It's not that there is some great profound message here. I guess people kind of get that idea in terms of the way I write my scripts, and I guess that's a rhetorical failure on my part. But the message and the meaning behind Vaporwave were not the intents of the video. The intent was clearly the aesthetics and the enjoyment of the thing in itself. Looking at Vaporwave for a sort of entertainment value, but then saying secondarily, there's also something here that we can kind of talk about intellectually, that it isn't just entertainment, that really, and I think that's the purpose of my channel, that nothing is just entertainment, that you can see a connection and a value in anything, regardless of whether the intent is there. And some people really took it really far in saying that the fads of the current generation is the recycled garbage disposal of 20 years ago. If you don't like Vaporwave, you don't gotta listen to it, but I don't think you have to say all that either, that it's just recycled garbage. I don't really think that the 2000s was the time of 70s, 80s retro. I don't remember seeing any floral patterns on my bedroom walls or in anyone's cars or anything like that. I don't think the 70s was ever so heavily glorified. Recycled garbage, I don't really see all that. It's just a music genre. Whether you like it or not is up to you. People like Bruno Mars are, I guess you could say, recycling Motown, but then Motown was itself a recycling of earlier jazz and even some gospel sounds and ragtime sounds. Everything is in a sort of cycle. It's just the Vaporwave is looking at things in a deconstructive sort of way, as opposed to simply rehashing things in a new constructive sort of way. Hating anything for being a meme is retarded. I never hated on Vaporwave for being a meme. Again, I feel like so many people wanted to put their own opinions into this video where I really didn't insert them. I just said that you can look at it as a meme, the same way you can look at it with regards to music theory, and you can look at it with regards to aesthetic theory and with regards to Marxian theory. Just different lenses through which you can view something doesn't mean that those things are intrinsically in the thing itself. There were also quite a few comments that were critiquing what I said about MC Ride. And to be honest, when I wrote the video script, I didn't know who MC Ride was. When I listened to that Death Grips remix of Macintosh Plus, I knew full well that there weren't shorties and thoughts in it. I just put that in there just for the joke. I knew it wasn't related. Vaporwave is damn dope. It's Remind When I Was Dead. I like that one. I really do. Delete is a good one. Why do Vaporwave have to make sense when life do not? I don't know. A lot of people really appreciated the editing as well, as they do for, I think, almost all of my videos, even when stuff really misses the mark. People like the editing regardless, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm really glad people like what I'm doing, at least from a constructive standpoint of making something that can be visually enjoyed. Some people asked how I made the video, how I made the animated album covers, and the video was initially made in Premiere Pro, but stuff like the album covers was done with 3D cameras and that sort of thing in After Effects. Someone actually did comment as a question that I recreated these album covers in Photoshop and then took them into After Effects, and that is exactly what I did for the video. Specifically for the 2814 video, I took apart the actual image and tried to find copies of similar images on Google and then put everything together in Photoshop and then took it in there and then in 3D space adjusted everything and then again put in a 3D camera. And then I put in things like car movement and water and rain to make things look a bit more organic, and I think it turned out pretty well. I think the journeys that a lot of people had with Vaporwave were very interesting too. As opposed to the guy that loved capitalism, there was another guy that very touchingly enunciated his feelings and how he became acquainted with Vaporwave. But then Hardcore Henry made it about 9/11 for some reason, and also McDonald's. He has a good point. Vaporwave may not have been popular, but no one can forget 9/11. It is impossible not to think about something so tragic. I don't really see how that pertains. I think comments like this are really more how I view Vaporwave. When someone says it's like their favorite genre, or it's something that they can personally enjoy, and lets them think about things they don't like in today's world, like ISIS and global warming. I think that's something to really be admired. It's not necessarily about thinking about the value, it's seeing value in it. And when you can look at that and you can say something about something, in addition to being able to enjoy it, I think that just adds a whole nother layer of enjoyment. This is Mr. Amazing. Thanks for watching. I really wanted to tone down the editing for this video just because I wasn't sure, I don't know, how well it would do, how many people would find it interesting, and also because I wanted it to be primarily something that people would just be listening to my opinion for, with the visuals kind of secondary, because most of my videos are really focused on the visuals themselves. But going forward, if a lot of people like this and they, just enjoy listening to me talk about and elucidate my opinions and my videos, then maybe I'll do more of them.